Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fashion Files podcast with me, your host, Jelena. So, in a past episode, I want to say maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago now, I discussed my excitement for season 4 of The Crown coming out. And now that it's out, I just wanted to talk a little bit about it because it does relate into the topic of today's episode, and I talked about it a few weeks ago. So I figured we would bring it sort of full circle without dedicating a full episode to it, unless that's something you're interested in listening to a full episode on my take on the costumes and everything. I would love to do that. So let me know if you want more or if this little segment in the beginning is enough for you. So, first off, wow, what a season. I'm sort of embarrassed to admit that I actually listened to or watched the full season in a day. It was so good. It had me on the edge of my seat, and I couldn't stop myself. I literally could not stop watching it. And each episode is like an hour long, so it was a lot of television in one day, but it was great. I may or may not have watched the season once again since then. So it was nice to watch it all the way through and be super excited about it and then watch it again and get to focus more on the details, the costumes, and all of that stuff. So, first off, the casting and actors were incredible. Emma Corrin as Princess Diana was really incredible. Her facial expressions, her, just everything, like the voice, everything was really, really well done. Josh O'Connor, also as Prince Charles, was really kind of like freaky to watch. I'm not gonna lie, all of his mannerisms and his posture and his voice were spot on. It was like weird to see him and then like see like actual old footage of Prince Charles because it was just so spot on. So incredible acting. Next, going into the clothes, I have always been sort of obsessed with Princess Diana and her sense of style, like probably everyone else. I feel like she has been the topic of like 90s fashion for so long. She's just an icon. So watching The Crown made me fall even deeper in love with her sense of style, and I was researching more into her style, her impact on the industry. So, I mean, a few of the most, I would say, iconic moments in the show, costume wise, were the wedding dress, which I believe the costume director actually got permission from the Emanuels, who did Princess Diana's wedding dress, to make that again for the show. The Emanuels did not make it. The costume department did their own take on it. And then we also saw her iconic sheep sweater, which is also for sale right now on Rowing Blazers. If you're interested in it, it's something that's still sort of in the back of my mind, like, oh, do I need that? Which I probably don't. But if you are interested, it is there. The engagement outfit was really spot on. I mean, I'll post some like side by sides on Instagram stories at the Fashion Files podcast. It was insane. And then another one of my favorites was her dress for the ball in Australia. It was just this gorgeous blue gown, and really, they just really hit the nail on the head with the costumes for the show. It was impeccable. So, with all of that and me doing further research into Princess Diana, her sense of style, everything about her, that is sort of what inspired this week's episode. So, today we're going to be discussing the history of the Lady Dior bag. And you may be thinking, Lady Dior, Lady Diana, Princess Diana. Yes, there is a relationship there. So, let's get right into it. The Lady Dior bag was originally released in 1995, and this was when the creative director at Dior was Gianfranco Fair, which, once again, guys, if my pronunciation is not perfect, please excuse me. I am working really hard, and I'm trying, so the effort is definitely there. And when the bag was originally created, it was actually given the name Chouchou, which means favorite in French. I think this is a really interesting fact because it's almost as if they knew back then when they were naming the bag that the bag would become such a defining and timeless piece for the brand. If someone asked me to name a Dior handbag or just like a symbol of the brand that sticks out in my mind from the collections, it would be the Lady Dior. That is, I mean, besides the saddlebag, those are probably the two most iconic pieces for the brand in terms of handbags. But I think the Lady Dior bag is just so like, it's such an iconic piece for the brand, and it's really what you think of when you think of Dior. It was then in September of 1995 when the bag was presented to Princess Diana by Bernadette Schrock. Bernadette Chirac at the time was the First Lady of France, and she gave it to Princess Diana at the Cézanne exhibit at the Grand Palais. And she sort of gave her this piece as a gift of French culture. And it's obviously without a doubt that Princess Diana loved the gift because she ordered it in nearly every option available. When you think of style icons from the 90s, Princess Diana definitely sticks out in my mind. There's so many of her iconic outfits that, scream 90s in my mind. The biker shorts with the sweatshirts, the little black dress with the pearl choker. So many iconic looks. She was photographed wearing the bag to a ton of public appearances, engagements. We even saw one on her at the Met Gala in 1996. She was wearing a navy gown with that iconic choker with the pearls and a small navy Lady Dior bag. It was not until 1996, that same year as the Met Gala, when the bag was given the name Lady Dior because of its popularity, obviously, after it was seen on Princess Diana. Since then, it's become really one of the big signature and timeless bags for Dior. Since 1995, with the bag's release, we've definitely seen different creative directors at Dior giving us their own takes on the bag and making their own changes throughout time. The bag currently comes in 5 different sizes. In 2015, Dior added the mini Lady Dior to the collection, which is 6.7 by 5.9 inches. Then, smaller than that one, the micro was added, which is 6 by 5 inches. And then the medium, which is 9 by 8. The large is 12.5 by 10 inches. And then the largest size is the large shopping tote, and that is at 16.5 by 12 inches. I think it's really interesting to see how, for example, with the Dior adding the mini Lady Dior and then the micro, I think it's interesting to see how the bag has taken some changes over time to make it a little bit more on trend in style, because obviously we have seen mini bags, micro bags becoming so popular in the past couple years with the Jacquemus bags and everything that goes along with that, all the other little micro bags. We've definitely seen that becoming a major trend. So I think it's really interesting to see how Dior has kept the timeless piece, but also worked it into trends and just made small changes to it without really changing too much of the iconic piece, so that you still recognize it's Dior, but it's sort of a fresh take and you're excited to see something fresh and new. It's also really interesting to look at the different creative directors' takes on the bag. So, most recently, we've obviously seen Maria Grazier take on the role of artistic director at Dior. This was actually in September of 2016 after Raf Simons stepped down. And whether you like Maria Grazier's take on Dior or not, it's quite clear that Maria Grazier's Dior appeals to the customer. Dior has seen insane amounts of growth with Maria Grazier's takeover in terms of ready to wear and just overall the whole brand. I will include a link down below if you guys want to see some actual statistics and numbers behind this, but it is without a doubt that the consumers are loving Maria Grazier's Dior. I think she has a really interesting take on Dior, and she adds sort of a feminine eye, and she seems to really appeal to women. And selling ready to wear to women, it's important to appeal to women, obviously. So I think all of her different feminine takes and her also trying to add feminism in, I think it really does appeal to the consumer and appeal to women at large. So she has actually reworked a lot of the classic Dior pieces during her time, and she always does give her own fresh take, like I said before. She sort of keeps the iconic pieces so it's still recognizable as Dior, but it's different, it's exciting, it gives you something to look at, and you're sort of just like entranced by it. It's new and old, it's a good combination. So she also had her own take on the Lady Dior bag. She created an actual soft body version of the bag. This was less structured than the original bag, and I think it also sort of blends in well to her feminine take on Dior. It's not super structured. It doesn't have the hard lines. It's softer. It's more feminine. It just looks more, I don't know, it just looks very just like cozy and not super like uptight, if that makes sense. It just looks like a fun bag. It doesn't look super like boxy. So she also created another version with small studs that outline the classic print on the Lady Dior bag. And then another change she made was in the 2017 cruise collection. She released the customizable Lady Dior bag. This customizable version allows for different badges to be pinned on the shoulder strap and other fun touches. And although it was just supposed to be part of that 2017 cruise collection, the customizable Lady Dior bag is also a permanent piece in the Dior collection now. And then, like I talked about that print that Maria Grazier changed before, that typical Lady Dior bag is commonly seen in the Canache print. This print is originally inspired from Napoleon III chairs. These chairs were actually once used in 1947 by Christian Dior. He had these chairs at the Atelier during his first fashion shows. So this print really does really look back at the history of Dior, and it is an iconic print for the brand. I mean, you can see this print on anything from bags to the side of sunglasses and eyeglasses. It's everywhere. So we've also seen the prints and artwork on the bag change throughout the years as well. So, like I mentioned before, Maria Grazier did the stud version. And then also in 2019, Maria Grazier invited 11 women artists from all over the world to collaborate with the house on different Lady Dior bags. Also, once again, bringing in that feminism sort of approach and just really relating it back to the feminine. So these bags were all blank canvases for the artists, and it really allowed them to take their own vision and work it back into the brand. And I think this was a really interesting concept and collaboration. I think when I think of Dior and the Lady Dior bag, I mean, when I've like looked at them on eBay and on the Real and wherever, the ones that are the collaborations are always, I mean, they're pieces of art. They're really stunning. I'll try to include some on the Instagram if you guys would like to see that too. I think they're just such gorgeous bags. They are pieces of art. So it's also without a doubt saying that the bag comes with a high price tag because the bags are quite literally all made by hand. So, I mean, the craftsmanship and the work that goes into creating each bag is insane. There's a video on the Dior YouTube channel that I will also have linked down below. It actually shows the process of creating the bag, and it's a beautiful video to watch. I mean, it's one of those things that I could watch a million times and still be like, oh my God, like, I can't imagine ever being able to put that together. So, fun fact for you guys, the bag actually takes around 150 pieces of leather, 8 hours of work, and up to 7 artisans to be created. So, it really is a labor of love. And I think that's really beautiful. And that is actually all I have for you guys today. So, thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate all of the support and all of the feedback. I actually just found out there is a fun feature if you are listening to this on Anchor. You can leave me an audio message, so please feel free to do that. I have just set that up, so feel free to check it out. Also, you can find the show on Instagram at the Fashion Files Podcast and on Twitter at the Fashion Files Pod. So feel free. I would love feedback. I really appreciate it so much. More than you guys know, it helps me plan for future episodes and figure out more of what you guys want to hear me talk about. So please give me all of the feedback. And I will also have some links below to some articles, videos that you might find interesting relating back to today's episode. And that is all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.